my wasabis! This is Jirbie, your certified aromatherapist, graduate of New York Institute of Aromatic Studies. And for today, I'm going to be talking about smell training or olfactory training. So if you know someone who's had anosmia or they've lost their sense of smell because of COVID, then please keep watching. Okay, so this technique or this program is actually authored by a German psychologist, Dr. Thomas Hummel, in 2009, where he developed this therapy called olfactory training or smell training, wherein you will pick 4 essential oils from different odor category, and you will have to smell these oils or these scents for the next 12 weeks in order for you to regain your sense of smell. Before that, let's talk about anosmia. Anosmia, or when you lose your sense of smell, can be very depressing to some people, especially if you use your sense of smell quite a lot. For example, if you are a perfumist, or if you are an aromatherapist, or even ordinary lay people would find it very depressing. There are psychological effects when you lose your sense of smell, and this is something that has been diagnosed with COVID. There are different levels of losing your sense of smell. So there's also what you call hyposmia, wherein there's a significant reduction of your sense of smell. And on the flip side, there's what you call hyperosmia, where there's an increased or a heightened sense of smell. Now, we will be talking about anosmia right now, and perhaps hyposmia. This is something that you can do, or you can encourage your friend or anyone you know to do in order to help them regain their sense of smell. So like what I've said earlier, you need 4 essential oils, and I will break that down with you in order for you to be able to make your own smell training set. Okay? So there are 4 categories that you have to fulfill. One is fruity. So if you have your lemon or your orange or anything that's fruity, you can take that. The next category is spicy. So you get your clove, your nutmeg, your cardamom. If you are familiar, only get oils that are very familiar to you. Even if you can't smell them, you know their smell. So you have to make sure that you pick oils that are very familiar to you. Okay? Next, you need something that's flowery or floral. You can pick rose, you can pick geranium, you can pick something like lavender. And finally, you have to pick something that is called resinous or ethereal. I would call them minty. So in here, it falls eucalyptus, peppermint, spearmint. Now, what Dr. Thomas Hummel mentioned is that that is supposed to be resinous. So in that regard, perhaps you can also use frankincense or anything that's more on the resinous side. But let's stick with something minty. In his original protocol, he used these specific oils. So it's lemon, clove, rose, and eucalyptus. When you do your quick Google search, you'd find the same set of oils. If you don't have any of these oils, you can substitute your orange for lemon, nutmeg for clove. You can use lavender or geranium for your floral or flowery, and you can use other minty oils for eucalyptus. And the goal here is for you to be able to recognize these scents again, to help your nerves connect that memory into your olfactory nerve or into your senses. So here's how you do it. Basically, you need your inhalers. In my last video, I talked about using these types of inhalers. You can use this, definitely, but today I will be using something that has cotton wick because I would like to soak these first or pump these first with carrier oil in order for the scent to last longer. Okay, so here's how I do it. I like using my fractionated coconut oil, put the cotton wick inside the tube, pump in 1 pump of coconut oil, 1 pump on each end, just to make sure that the oil is really seeping inside. Alright, you can do that for the rest of the wicks. Okay, the carrier oil helps the scent lasts longer. So it's important that you use carrier oil for this versus just using essential oils. So there you go. Okay, let me just check the other two. Okay, good. It's not dripping. I've already pre-labeled all my tubes. So I put the name of the oil and the category. Again, you need 4 very distinct oils for these. Others would say you can also use your favorite cologne or the things that are very, very familiar to you as part of your olfactory training. The goal is that you should be able to remember how it smells like even if your nose is physically not sensing it. Okay? So once you have put your carrier oil inside each tube, you can start putting in 6 to 10 drops of essential oil right inside the wick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. With the carrier oil inside, you can expect the scent to last longer. I like also flipping this over so that the one with essential oils is the one on top. So that's your first. And then for spicy, 6 to 10 drops. Okay. Just and your floral. And here we have our rose essential oil or rose absolute. Okay, and then flip it over. And finally, your ethereal or resinous, or anything that's minty. There you go. So once everything is secured, you can give these to your friend, to your family who's experiencing anosmia, and let them, make sure to ask them to sniff through each tube for about 10 to 15 seconds per session. So you would need, or the patient would need to do this a minimum of twice a day. You can go 3 times a day. So that's 10 to 15 seconds per tube in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening for 12 weeks. So that's about 3 months. So when you're doing your smell training, you don't really have to inhale the scent. You just have to do little sniffs. This is in order for the scent to linger on your nose, on your olfactory nerve, versus going straight or directly to your lungs. And with that, a lot of people has had success with their smell training. In fact, I was able to get in touch with someone when I asked about this on my Instagram, and she actually did this. She is a 36-year-old woman from Pangasinan, and she said that she was tested positive for COVID last November. And she started doing this training, smell training, as soon as she lost her sense of smell. And it took her more than 3 months, so she was only able to regain her sense of smell by June of this year. Now, you can do this longer than 12 weeks, but some I've also read success wherein they were able to regain their senses after 2 weeks. So it depends on the person. You can continue with this training or with this therapy for as long as you need. It's very, very safe. Since you are using inhalers, you are not really putting everybody else at risk. I think the only risk I can see is that if you are into medication that's with blood thinners, therefore you can't use clove, you might have to use another kind of spicy oil like nutmeg or something else. But these are generally safe. So she said that she was able to slowly regain her sense of smell on her 3rd month of doing the olfactory training. Like, she was able to detect food being cooked, she was able to detect the whiff of her perfume, and Soon after, her sense of taste followed. Little by little, she was able to regain her sense of smell and taste, and so she stopped after 7 months of actually doing this on a daily. I also have seen other reports wherein some people would have a more pronounced sense of smell at certain times of day. So there are people who would say they can't really smell as efficiently in the morning. Some would smell more towards the end of the day. So it depends on the person. And I would suggest for you to take notes of your therapy or your smell training so that you're able to see your little observations as you progress. So that's all for today. If you have any questions about this, you can shoot them down below through the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you have any personal experiences about this or you've heard things about this, I'd love to hear what you think, and I'll see you on my next video.